Hello everyone, and welcome to the Korean Grand Prix. It is of course Apex Racing League, and I'm driving my Williams on my out lap for my final qualifying lap. So, on options, as you can see there, a little bit of an unusual strategy. It is a two-stop race this one, but we've got a 60% chance of rain in the race. So I've decided to go for options anyway. Only isn't here of course. This race and next race unfortunately he's not going to be here, he's on holiday. So I'll start the lap, the ARS open, then have to shut it briefly from the apex there for fear of spinning out. So I said I've gone for options to try and get the pole. It'll be my first pole of the season. I still managed to not get one yet, so it'd be nice to break that particular duck. It's been a pretty good first corner. Wasn't perfect, but not bad at all. So this is wide open now, then I'm running absolutely full gears at this track for this particular straight. You see they'll be hitting the rev limiter only just before I'm braking really. Probably less than a second rev limiter, braking very heavily, managed to nail my apex nicely. Full throttle on the exit then, using all my curves, so you can see I'm already on a 35.5. My PB is a 35.3 and I think a 35.1 is possible, and I'm up half a tenth up then. About a tenth off my personal best first sector. Probably mainly because of that first corner, but still a very good one. You can see that purple, faster than anyone. So it's looking good for me to keep pole. I've currently still already got pole, but let's try and push so I can keep it. And DRS wide open now, trying to keep it open for both these corners. Oh, bit of oversteer, I have to shut my DRS. Definitely cost me some time. Probably cost me half a tenth, maybe even a tenth. But I need to nail these apexes now, continue to do so. I think the 35.5 might be good enough for pole, but not everyone's set a lap yet even, so there's no guarantees. So I'm now coming to in the second sector, 2 tenths up almost. 2 tenths up, that's quite possibly my personal best through the first and second sectors. So he's trying to keep it all together in his final sector. It's not gone amazingly. I hit the curb a little bit rough, a bit too wide. Managed to keep my DRS open all the way around there though. Wasn't a great final sector. What's going to be then as we cross the line? It's a 1 minute 35.553, so only 300ths up in the end. I lost over a tenth and a half in that final sector, so could have been my PB if I had a good final sector, but I didn't quite manage it unfortunately. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just watching this back and realising I didn't do the quali results for some reason, so here we are. I did get my first pole of the season then by 1.2 seconds to CRBZ. You can see the 4 people down the bottom did not qualify, so I think there'll be a few people starting on primes, so it should be interesting to see. Back to you, Alex. And this is my setup then. My normal dry setup, I didn't tweak it at all despite the chance of rain. You can see there it is dry at the moment. And that is my strategy. I consider changing it, but decided to leave it just in case it doesn't rain, so that's what I'm going to do if it doesn't rain. Option, prime option. Only 8 laps on the option, and they are pretty dead then as well. And also they're going aggressive fuel to save weight. You might remember if you've been watching me for a while, subscribed for a while, last season. Very, very close in qualifying it was. But Ben stormed away in the race unfortunately. I believe it was because he had aggressive fuel, so that's what I've done this time. And the lights are on now, so 4 lights, 5 lights all straight away and they're out then, so straight to X-Mixture should get a good start. The guys behind me are on primes, and indeed they're start pull away from already. Braking a little bit conservatively, but not too much so. Don't want any contact, and I turn in confidently there, hoping no one's going to hit me, and they didn't. As to be expected in a league race, and using the rest of my curves now, give me a nice gap to the cars behind, so it's already looking good. So I'm still in first then. And get way back, but I'll brake pretty late, and I'm not going to be able to get that stopped, and I'm going to go off the track. That's not good. It's going to slow me down for sure. And CRBZ must have nailed the corner. Then I'm going to stick to the inside, not going to allow on the inside line. And now Rich, of course, got no curves left to defend because he used it all on the last straight, and he's ahead of me now. I'm going to try and outbrake him into this corner, which I haven't quite managed to do, but he can't quite get it slowed down. He's off the track. He's right off the track there, cost him many positions. Look at the minimum, look how bunched up everyone is. Only would you get that in a league race, no open lobby would you get 11 drivers in such a tight space. But I've now managed to pull a little way ahead of the guy behind Igor, so that's good. And we're now coming through the middle sector, and I'm just trying to pull a gap then to the guy behind. They don't stand enough fuel, of course I can't afford to go rich. I'm hoping it'll pay off. I will need to go lean at some point. I can't now run standard for the rest of the race. I will run out of fuel, so I do need to go lean for probably a lap or 2. But I'm going to save it till later in the race, but hopefully when we're in the wet, when it's not going to make so much difference. So I'm going to keep it to standard for now. So 8 tenths already then to Igor behind. Pushing now in this final sector to avoid that curve in the race, but attack it in quali. And that's curve. Come across the line now then, hopefully I've managed to get the gap out. Indeed 1.4, so despite that first corner, that, what was it, third corner I guess, this would be corner 1. This next one here would be corner 2, so that must be the third corner, the one at the end of this long straight. And corner 3 mistake. Did cost me a little bit of lead, probably cost me about a second, maybe even a little bit more. But I've got away with it, I'm still in first for now. As I brake pretty much the same time as last lap, but I get away with it this lap. Tyres a bit warmer, brakes are a bit warmer. Get away with it, use the rest of my curves then. But I run down to the end of the first sector. And purple of course, first flying lap. 1.9 to Igor now then, so it's looking good. It's looking very good. Hopefully I can continue to pull that gap out. He's certainly out of the DRS zone now. But with my strategy, I know quite a few people are on primes. And I'm pretty sure my strategy is quicker, but of course with the rain, if it rains in these first 8 laps, the sky's blue at the moment, but if it rains in these first 8 laps before I pit, or actually sorry, that would be the same, but if it rains between say lap 8 and lap 15, which is when the prime runners will pit, then I will be a pit stop down on them. So now pushing to try and get a whole pit stop ahead of them if I can, that'd be ideal, but just get as much of the gap as possible. As I said, the sky looks relatively blue at the moment, I'm not too worried. As I'm 2.2 up on my previous course, the last lap being a standing start lap. 2.3 now to I go behind, and 2.3 there further to Ben. Notice his name there, Ben Inho 106. He was of course the guy who won the championship last year, who I was battling with. He's rejoined as a reserve just for this race, for a bit of fun. It's good to see him back. So now we skip to lap 7. You can see on the right hand side there, not the glitch in the top right, someone invited me, but looked at it, or added me as a friend. My tyres there, they're pretty worn. Probably could get another couple of laps out of them if I wanted to, but 7.5 seconds to Igor behind, and so I've certainly continued that trend of pulling the gap out to Igor. He's on the same tyres as me, luckily, so hopefully start to hold up Ben now just behind him. So I managed to get it all slowed down nicely, nailing the apexes nicely now. You can see visually, look at the tyres. They do look visually more worn, for sure. And now coming to the end of the first sector, or now the beginning of the second sector really. So still pushing hard, and you see that the sky is indefinitely darker, but it's not going to rain just yet. It's still a little bit bright, but the clouds are starting to come over, so I should think it'll be relatively soon. I'm not sure when it was, I think it was around this point, my engineer tells me. Rain expected in about 15 minutes time, so I was considering staying out for it, to wait for the rain, but I decided against it when he told me rain was coming in 15 minutes. So despite driving around this lap, I think this lap I was trying to work out in my head, despite trying to drive as quick as I can, I was trying to work out, that was 15 minutes, how many laps is that, how many laps can I do, what tyre should I go on. That's all it's all really about, 15 minutes, so I'm going to need to pit now, but do I go on primes or do I go on options? See, they're coming into the pits now. Try not to cut the lines too much. Go to lead now, and there we go, selected options, so I've decided to go for options. So I've worked out in my head that 15 minutes will be about towards the end of the life of the options, so it should be faster. You can see there Mikey and Victor there in the gap on the left hand side. They started right from the back, they didn't qualify at all, started right from the very back. So now come, and I know there's a car to my left, so I'm going to give him a little bit of room, stay as wide as I can, and there he is, he's also seen me, so again, good driving there, that you only really get in a league. And I'm now going to go in a slipstream, I believe I'm on standard mix at the moment. That's just pulling away from me a little bit, but I used a bit of curves, and now I'm now in a slipstream, so he's not pulling away from me anymore. I believe he is on options, he is indeed, so he won't have as much grip as me. You can see there visually, look at that. That's to wait for him to get on throttle, as I'm now going to go rich and use all of my curves, and I get a bit of slipstream. I've gone for it, round the outside. Trying to outbrake him, then round the outside. Here we go, he's still there, going to have to give him room. He's still there, but no, he's now behind. Just hasn't got as much grip as me with these brand new options, despite the fact they're cold. And I'm now ahead of him, comfortably enough. So we're on lap 8 then, of 28. You can see there the sky is getting darker, so I need to hope that the rain holds off for another 5 laps or so at least. You see Victor ahead there. They started on primes, Victor and Mikey. So I expect they'll either try and stay out for the rain or pit in a minute, but I believe I'm certainly gaining on them. missed the gap in the last sector, of course, because I was battling with chicane behind me. We'll get a gap just now. 6.6, so it's not a huge gap, especially with me on brand new option tyres and them on worn tyres, worn primes. So I'll now be pushing to try and close that gap down, so even if it does rain, I'm only just behind them. So here we go then, someone's in the pits. Who's it? Is it Ben? I believe it's Ben. Coming into the pits then, so I'm already past him. So it's just Mikey and Victor ahead now. You can see on the left hand side there. We didn't really get a gap, unfortunately. He's apparently 2.5, but that would have been to Ben, I should think, in the pits. They're visually close on the minimap there already, somehow. I believe they're battling each other, which is certainly helping me. Now comes to the end long straight. Very big braking point. As you all slow down nicely then. All front on the exit. I'm going to be using the rest of my curves. Thrown to the end of the first sector. What was it? 6.6, I believe it was. So included as a fastest lap there. That's 5 now, so 1.6 seconds. So that was 2 sectors, but mostly straight, must be 7 those sectors. So 5 seconds only now to Mike ahead. And these tyres are certainly giving more grip than the last ones then. So hopefully I can close the gap. And even if it pits in the next lap or two, I think I can be on them. If it rains rather, the next lap or two.
Looking at the radar, it looks like we might have light rain in about 15 minutes.
My engineer tells me they're light rain in 15 minutes. So he's delayed that. He's changed his mind. Now he's saying 15 minutes. Which is a lot of time, really. A lot of time. So what's that? I reckon that's about 10 laps or so. The rain will be in. I do a purple sector and 3.3 only to Mikey now then. So I've gained, what's that, 1.7 seconds in the middle sector alone. So for sure, I'll be right on him now. Give it one more lap and I'll be right on him. And looks like they both come into the pits then. You see him there on the right hand side, so I'm more or less a pit stop ahead of him. Not quite, but not far off it. Only a couple of seconds off it. You know, I'll skip. I do a fast lap and we skip to lap 18 then. So you see that on the right hand side, my tyres are very worn at this point. So I'm begging for rain now because he delayed that rain. As I said, he said 15 minutes just before I came into the pits, and then 5 minutes later he said 15 minutes again, so they delayed the start of the rain. So I was thinking, oh god, I'm not going to make it, I have to pit again. And right now I'm thinking, right, these tyres are pretty dead. I've got 15-second gap on Mike, Victor rather behind. 20-second pit stop at this track, so I'll be 5 seconds behind him, but that's not too bad. It could be worse. So I'm thinking now I should pit at the end of this lap for a set of primes, brand new prime tyres. Comes in the first sector there. So they're not too bad on the right side though, look. But they're certainly not healthy, and I am losing time now. I believe Victor's on the same tyres behind me, so only pitted, what, 2 laps later than me. It's not too much different. But I have now done, was it 10 tyres? 10 tyres. 10 laps on these tyres. And like I said, they only last 8 laps in the first stint at least, so certainly if this is a normal race, I'm looking to pit, but there's a few drops there. There's a few drops of rain coming down on the circuit, and that is what I wanted to see. So I will now wait for it to start raining heavier, because now you can see I've pretty much still got dry grip. So I was praying for that bit of rain, and I've now got it. So I'll now have to stay out, even though these tyres are really worn. It's certainly not worth pitting through winter's or dries yet, so I'm going to have to stay out until it's wet enough, but just pray I don't get a puncture. You can see particularly the front right there, very worn. Really quite a dark red. Just hope I don't get a puncture. That's the only thing I'm really scared of now. I think the rain's come at the right time. My pace is okay. Just gotta hope that I don't get a puncture. That's the only thing I think that can compromise this race now without making any mistakes. And of course though, which tyre do I go when it does rain? Is it going to suddenly rain heavily, and is it worth going straight to full wets? Or is it going to be intermediates? But how likely that part of the track was raining. So it's starting to rain here now. Break a little bit early, but no really issues slowing down. So it's raining quite lightly, so I think intermediates will be the tyre to go on when it's ready, but it's certainly not ready yet. Still absolutely dry tyres at the moment. So I did lose half a second in that sector. Taking a little bit easy when it's raining. Of course I don't want to go skating off. That helped me a lot in Singapore. My engineer tells me a few cars are in it for inters, and look at that on the minimap, there's people who've gone off. So I think the last 20 seconds must have rained a lot, and look at that understeer. This sector is ready for inters now, I think. Just about. Look at that, no grip at all. Trying to turn, I've got none. Trying to get it slowed down, and I'm going to go off the track, I think. No, managed to keep it on just about. This is ready for winters now for sure. It's not soaking wet, but it's not great. And look at that, no grip at all. Just can't get the thing round. It's good though, because the car's behind me. If they're 20 seconds behind me, they'll have 20 seconds more rain on the track, so I should have more grip than them, hopefully. So what was it? It was 15 seconds to Victor then, more or less, before this rain started. So I'm just going to come to the line in just a minute. Oh, I've run a bit wide there, even more so than usual. I'll take it so easily on this wet track. 16.9, so again 2 seconds on Victor. So have a slightly dry track certainly has helped me. And coming into pits now. Here we go then. So we'll go for intermediate tyres then. I don't think it'll be wet enough for full wets just yet. I think we can get 2 or 3 laps out of the inters, so it's worth doing that. You lose 5 or 10 seconds per lap if you go on a full wet tyre on intermediate track. And away then. So I expect everyone to come into the pits. Yeah, you can see on the mini map there, everyone into the pits.
The track is clear. Track is clear.
And here we go then. 18.3 then as we came into the pits, so Victor lost even more in the final sector. So we lost over 3 seconds to me, just in those 2 sectors, because it was wet. But this sector, I'd say, isn't fully wet yet, but it's still raining. Look, there is still a little bit of spray on the tyres, so I think we're going to get away with it. Because I'm trying to get slowed down, I managed to do so. Of course, no idea where to brake. I haven't done any wet weather practice. Don't know how wet it is, or dry. If it's dry, that'll also have no grip with these tyres. Looks just about wet enough in this sector. So just about going to slow down, miss my apex a bit, but it's not too bad. I'll go to lean. You see on the right hand side there, -1 lap of fuel. As I said, I would have to go to lean at some point, so I'll do it now while I'm on these tyres, while I'm slow. Anyway, so lap 20 of 28 then. So only a few more laps left to go, really. Well over halfway distance now in this race. It's 18.6 to Victor, so 3.5 seconds it was then that I gained on him with this rain. And it's certainly wetter in this sector. I'm not quite ready for full wets yet, I'm still okay. But it'll be there next lap, I think. This particular sector will be. There's just not a lot of grip. Come around here. But it's okay. I've got enough grip for now. I'm not crawling round. But that first sector was almost dry, wasn't it? It was only just wet, so this sector is just about ready for full wets now, but the first sector isn't, so I think I'm going to carry on doing another lap, we'll see. I go to stand up for the straights, and indeed I do carry on doing another lap. 90.4 to Victor, so once again, getting a lot on him there with the changeable conditions. And I'm coming down into turn 1 then, so this is absolutely intermediate track, this bit here. This isn't wet track, so I hope I've made the right choice for now, but it is raining hard, so next lap for sure will be full wets. So I will be coming full wets at the end of this lap, but let's see, does Victor pit? Victor does pit. Victor's pitted then, presumably for a set of full wet tyres. This bit's probably full wet tyres, so I brake very early. Managed to get slowed down without too many issues. Lots of oversteer on the exit, big wheel spin. Here we go then. 19 in the first sector. 25 seconds, of course, Victor came into the pits. This is still intermediate tyres, so this particular section of track. I do run wide though. Yeah, this bit of track is definitely still intermediate tyres. So it's paid off so far in the lap, but we'll see what it's like in a bit. There was quite wet a minute ago, and now I expect it will be very wet. So this corner, intermediate still. Now it's getting towards wets, I think. Yeah, look at that, no grip. And yes, no grip now, look at that. This is wet tyres, absolutely. So I'm going to be losing time through here for sure, but hopefully I gained enough in the first sector. Look at that, no grip, no rear grip, fighting the car, trying to keep it in a straight line. And look at that, I have to slow right down, got some steering lock on, and the car just isn't turning, there's just too much water on the track. 40 seconds to include there for a minute. And I've run wide, no grip at all, just got to minimise time loss. I should be okay, so as long as I don't spin or anything silly. I've run wide there. 40-second gap, I can afford to lose 20 seconds and still come out ahead. I should be okay, but this might have been the wrong decision, I think. Depends on how much grip there was in the first sector, but of course I was almost 20 seconds ahead of the guys behind, so they would have had a wetter track than me as well. We'll see what the gap is when I finished pitting. And there we go, I'm into the pit, so we managed to pick it around without spinning, which is good. Now lean to reselecting wet then just to make sure it's got the message. because in that last sector the gap was 38, so I haven't really lost too much actually. In the middle sector there, we'll see. Proper gap at the end of sector 1. So I don't think I've lost too much actually, I think I might have got away with it. Bit of oversteer there, not really used to these grip levels of course yet. Don't really know how wet the track is. I think this whole track now, I think even this bit is ready for full wet, so we'll see if I made the right decision. 30 seconds to Victor across the line, but I was in the pits then, so that doesn't count. So what was it, about 19 seconds wasn't it, before all this happened? That's now brake nicely actually for that corner. Turn 3. All worked rather nicely. Coming to the end of the first sector now then, lap 22-28 we are on. With full wet tyres. 13.6 down, of course I pitted, and it's more wet than last lap. But what we want to know is the gap to Victor then. Did my strategy pay off? I'm certainly ahead by quite a way, so regardless it's worked, but did I make the right strategy call? 16.2, so he certainly gained on me. So possibly then, it's Barcelona unfortunately with tyres there. Quite possibly then I think I should have pitted 1 lap earlier for a set of full wets, but I made the call on that first sector, which certainly was ready for inters. So I might have lost that time anyway, being 20 seconds ahead of the guys behind. And a 20-second drier track. Might not pay it off anyway, so I'm happy though. 16 seconds ahead of Victor still. And now we're on the tyres that we will undoubtedly finish the race on. So I'm not too worried about 8.4 then, so what's that gained about? A few seconds, I think, the middle sector of course. We're having the right tyres on the car. Mikey's in third as well. You see it looks like a quite close race behind. So then across the line. And we skip ahead to lap 27 and now 28. The final lap of the race then. Not a lot happened in the last few laps. I just drove around the track. And the gap is now 26 seconds to Victor. Was gaining, I believe it's something like a second a lap to him. Half a second lap I think it was. But I think he made 2 mistakes in one sector somehow and lost about 5 seconds to me. So that's where most of that time's come from, but about half of it, the other half's just come from my pace. I've had good pace on the wet tyres on this track. You can see that, and then my braking points nicely. I'm used to these conditions now. Use my final bit of curves for the race then. That'll be it, no more curves for this race. You can see, look at the mini-map, look at the gap to the guys behind, so it was a fairly dominant race by me again, but it was actually a relatively boring race behind the wheel. Not a lot happened, and of course it's been relatively boring unfortunately for you guys once again, but I did want to qualify, I did want to get 1 pole position. Of course I didn't realise that quick guys weren't going to qualify, but as I said, it's been relatively boring but not easy. The conditions have absolutely made it tricky. It's been quite a stressful race to be honest, trying to make those options last, wait till it's raining, pick the right tyres when it does rain. It's not been an easy race, but I've managed to come out on top, which is always good. 25 seconds and 7 seconds between Victor and Mikey then. And I've come to the end of the second sector then. Just 1 more sector to go this race then. I'm a 10th of my previous, so pretty consistent stuff. And we're a little bit wide there, but it's not the end of the world. And there we go then, so come around the final sector for the final time in this race in the wet. And I take my win at Korea, which I didn't get last season, so it's my first win at Korea in ARL, bit of swerving there. And there we go, complete the 28th lap to finish first. 34 seconds ahead of Victor in the end. He had a spin on the final corner. You see there 2,000ths between Victor and Mikey. Ben finished 4th. So Victor had a spin on the final corner and just beat Mikey home. Very close stuff indeed though. And this is how the championship looks then. So I am indeed still topping it of course with Jerome Queequel there, of course Ownage. Not racing the last race, and you see that DNA, he's also not racing the next race in India unfortunately. That does give me a 31 point lead in the championship now, so with only 4 races left to go, it's looking pretty good, especially if I can get a good result next race. And you see that Mike in 3rd position there, still 153 points, so just over 100 points behind me. So yeah, looking pretty good for me in the championship, so fingers crossed and keep the strong results up. Thanks for watching, bye bye.